Good morning, everybody. It's 8 something on Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022. And we have fog. It's clearing out right now, but the sun a moment ago was just a little yellow sticker in the sky because of the fog. Anyway, let's take a look at the cows here. There's blue. There's red. So a commentator that's raising Longhorn said red is not red Angus at all. She's a pure blooded Longhorn. He could tell because of the horns. But also this is one of the colors that the Longhorns come in. It's just solid red. So I think she's a beautiful specimen. Yellow. Right? Yellow's eyes have always kind of been weird for me. Just the way they look. Anyway, I'll call her Speck or Spot for obvious reasons. She has the eyeliner around her eyes. You know, that's a pretty awesome trait. I think we have one more Longhorn. This guy right here. Dusty. We used to call her Whitey, but you know, she's not really white. She's more of a brown color. Especially if it hasn't rained for a while. Dusty. Yeah. And then Blackie had a lot of Corriente. There's Longhorn in there too. And Brownie, where's Brownie? Oh, Brownie's over here with her calf. She has a lot of Corriente in her too. You know. But there's quite a bit of Longhorn. Even in Brownie, you can see quite a bit of Longhorn. I guess maybe I will, have a couple cows that are just Longhorn. Wonder if the vets, I'm sure the vets around here know how to deal with Longhorn, because you can't exactly put them through a chute. So they got to have some way of securing them so they can work on them. And if they can secure them to work on them, we can probably do AI. And that way I won't have to keep a bull. One of the things that Greg Judy's video yesterday, he was talking a little bit about, you can do anything you want. That's true. If you want to be a rocket scientist, whatever, go do rocket science. You'll eventually find a way to succeed. But don't try to do too much at once. And I was thinking about that. Like for people like me who haven't farmed, haven't really even kept a garden. I just, had a lawn. This is all new. And I'm still like, there's so much I don't know about what I'm doing. And it's not like there's a book I can read that would tell me all the answers. And even if I could read such a book, there's no way I'd be able to absorb all that material. And, the state of the science is always changing, like what we think is best to do with cows. So one of the things that I was overwhelmed by was calves. Like, what do I do with calves? How do I get them ready for sale? And the fine folks here in my town have set up a program that basically tells you what to do with your calves. They give you dates. If you want to sell your calves on this date, you have to have this done by that date, and you have to have this done by that date. And you have to work through one of the licensed vets, right? And there's like probably 4 or 5 different places in town that'll do cows, but there's 2 places that are known to do cows well. And both of them, you can just get your cows on a trailer and bring them in. They'll do the work, and it's pennies on the dollar. That's what I see it as. They're way undercharging. But they work fast, and I'm sure they're making some money somewhere. But even that, for me, was too much. And so I called my neighbor, and I said, hey, I really don't want to go through this process. Can I just sell you the calves? And he was kind enough to buy the calves. And obviously I didn't get the full price I would have gotten for them if I'd done it myself. And I think he was too generous, and so hopefully he got a fair price for him. But that's one of the things that I was thinking about is, like, you don't have to do it all, right? Just find something and do that. Like for me, rotationally grazing cows, that's pretty easy. And the calf problem, I mean, I could do steer. I could like buy steer from the sale barn, bring them on my ranch, run them for a year, and then sell them. That's probably a good way to do it too. There's a couple reasons why I chose not to do that. One of the reasons was I wanted the cows to know me, and I didn't want to deal with cows that don't know me. All right, so I wanted to really learn how the cows behave. And cows, I'm going to keep these cows for years and years. So I'm going to learn a lot about how they change. Whereas with the steers, I'd only get to know them for, 9 months out of the year. Then they'd be gone, right? The other reason I didn't want to do that was there's a learning curve for the steers. Like if they come on my ranch and they've never seen a polywire before, I have to train them. And that's something that I'm not really confident doing yet. So, I mean, I managed to get these guys trained, more or less. I haven't had problems for months now. But, I mean, that was a chore. And that was actually one of the things that frustrated me, was trying to get them to stay inside the wire. But if I had to do that as part of the regular course, that's not something that I'm very good at. She has blood on her tail. Is she menstruating? Oh my goodness, my heifer's menstruating. Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of something that I was thinking about is, but maybe the steers is the right solution for you. Like getting them off your land during the winter solves the problem of haying. If you don't want to deal with hay, if you don't want to buy hay, you don't want to store hay, you don't want to distribute hay, get the steers. Bring them on the land when the grass is growing, take them off when the grass is done. Are you going to make money? I don't know, right? Are you going to learn how to deal with cows and how to work the land? Absolutely. You learn how to fix fences? Right. So that's one of the things I was thinking about, is there's like people out here that know what they're doing, and you can buy, sell, trade, work with them, rather than just asking favors. What is with this cow? Number 6 has been mounting other cows like it's a bull. I think these cows are like very much in heat. But anyway, so yeah, one day I'm going to bite the bullet, raise the calves to weight and sell them. Maybe one day I'm going to start raising steer for butchering. I think that's eventually where I want to be, but right now it's just too much for me. Keeping separate herds is too much. I tried it. I failed. Keeping the rams off the ewes. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to have to set up like a separate farm with its own fence that the rams won't get through. But I got to keep the ewes far away, and I don't know, I'll talk with my friend again and try to convince him to let me put my rams on his land, and something like that. He was concerned about disease, so maybe if I could somehow convince him that my rams don't have disease, or convince myself at least. Like, I don't know if they have disease. They could have some disease. How would I know? I don't know. Maybe take him to the vet and ask them what's going on. I don't know, but anyway, that's something that I got to think about. That's another problem to solve. That's something I haven't really found a solution to yet. But yeah, these things, if you try to do too much at once, it's going to overwhelm you. For me, one of the first things I did on this land was I fixed the fence. I put up electric wire on the fence, right? And that consumed my attention, my thoughts for a long time. The next thing I did was setting up the polywire, right? Even just getting the first polywire set up, like, you won't believe how much mental anguish I went through trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to put the wires up and move the cows. I had spreadsheets and charts and diagrams. I had like an animation that I played back to myself just to tell myself that I understood the process. I calculated how many rolls I actually needed, how many feet of this and how many feet of that. And, I went back and forth with how much does a cow eat in a year, and, different aspects of that problem, until I kind of settled on, a happy medium in between all those solutions, which is where I'm at right now. So that was a challenge. And then the next challenge was getting the cows to stay in the wire. And if you've never herded cattle before, that's a hoot and a half. That's something that there's a learning curve there. And people that have experience doing it are way better at it than people that don't. But there's only one way to learn that, So herding cattle, getting them into the poly wire, keeping them in the poly wire, fixing the poly wire when it doesn't work, fixing the fence when it doesn't work. Those are all skills you have to tackle and you have to learn. But if you try to do it all at once, like if from day one, I ordered a bunch of poly wire and a bunch of wire for the fence, and I ordered a charger and the posts, and I tried setting up the posts on day one with the cows, and it wouldn't work. You have to do it little by little. That's why when I first bought these cows, I just turned them out on the field. I just turned them out, you know, and after a while, it got to the point where I'm like, okay, I have to bring them into the poly wire because I can set it up and everything, you know. And we tried all kinds of different things to herd the cows. None of them worked until we found the one that did. Right. And that's something else. My wife, she does the worrying for the family. She's probably going to watch this video, so I better be somewhat careful what I say. But the thing that I wanted to say was there's problems that you can't foresee. There's problems you can foresee. There's certain problems you think you see but aren't really problems. And there's certain things you think aren't problems but actually are problems, right? And the problem is you don't know what's going to be important until you get there, right? And in software development, we had to balance like fighting unseen demons that may or may not exist versus fighting the actual demons that are right there in front of your eyes. And a lot of software development, I've learned the best process is just to do it. Get something that does something. And then identify a problem, a single problem, fix that one problem, and then continue that process. And if I see a problem that I don't want to fix right away, I make a list. And I'll have a list of 1,000 different problems. Some of the problems are huge, some of the problems are tiny. Like that letter needs to be, you know, slightly bigger, or we need to change that to red, versus like, I'm pretty sure that the way we're handling the data will make it impossible to have more than one user using the database at the same time. You know, that's kind of the differences that we run into. So there's some people working out there on the pad. I better go talk to them. I gotta feed the ducks too. So finding a problem, solving that problem, and hopefully solving it in such a way that it's not a problem for a while. You know, sometimes you just patch it. You say, maybe we can survive another day, you know, bubble gum and duct tape, but other times you got to fix it. Anyway, that's kind of my thoughts. Don't try to solve all the problems at once. Don't worry about things that aren't immediately in front of you. And don't let yourself get overwhelmed. You know, it's possible. I look like some kind of expert maybe to some people. I'm not. I honestly don't know what I'm doing. And if you take my advice for how to run cattle, you're a stupid person. You're something wrong in your head. You know, I'm just showing you what I'm doing and what the results are. So you guys have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.